What is up, guys? We are continuing our CES 2020 coverage, and today we're talking about InWin. And of course, this year they have a new signature series case or chassis. It is called the Diey, and that is Cantonese for butterfly. Our CES 2020 coverage is brought to you by Kingston's A2000 entry-level NVMe solid-state drive. With up to 1 terabyte of capacity and 3 times the performance of a traditional SSD at about the same price. So being that the name of the product means butterfly, it's sort of, all about transformation and everything like that. So this case actually has 80 of these sort of scales on it. Each of these have RGB lighting, and the scales can be kind of moved up and back to reveal the inside of the case. So the system is actually suspended in the air on this really large and interesting stand, and like most of the signature series chassis, it is really made to be sort of like an art piece, and this one is more of like an interactive art piece, which I think is pretty cool. So it has a built-in virtual assistant, and what that can do is it can take voice commands, you can have gesture controls, and there's even facial recognition. The stand itself is actually quite large, and like I said, this is made to be, sort of like a piece of art or something like interactive. So, you're not going to want to put this in a bedroom. The stand is quite big, and the actual base of the stand has a white base, and the reason that it has that is there's an actual projector that points down, so you can have this, play a movie for you or whatever it may be. With the chassis opened up, InWin gives you the ability to install, a dual system or a single system. It's kind of all dependent on the user there. This case will come with 2 power supplies. Of course, that helps control the motors and everything like that, as well as the system you install in it. So the chassis just looks amazing. The little time we had spending with it, it just looks really cool being suspended there in the air. And then all of the scales opening and closing is just really cool. And it's definitely gonna catch somebody's attention if you have this in your house. Now, like all of these signature series cases, this is gonna be on a limited run. And InWin tells us they might not even make it at all, as far as like, if they get an order in, they'll make it, but they're not going to have a bunch of these, in production or anything like that. This is not going to be cheap either. InWin tells us it's going to retail for around $14,500. Another cool case that we saw at the InWin booth was their B1. And this is designed as a mini-ITX case that's really made for like that streaming PC or, that like arcade gaming style Steam box or something like that. It has a unique design, and it's pretty much all ventilated, which is good. But there is a 200-watt power supply included, as well as an 80-millimeter cooling fan. So for those wondering, like, do I have to get a certain type of power supply for the small case? It's already included there, and you do get the cooling fan as well for nice ventilation. The top of the case is actually tall enough so you can fit the stock Intel cooler. That's kind of the demo they had set up there. So a lot of those low profile air coolers will easily go ahead and fit inside this case. The top of it is actually tempered glass, and you can go ahead and pull that top off to easily install your motherboard. Now the case is set up to sort of sit horizontally, but they're actually going to include a stand as well if you want to go ahead and set it up vertically. This case will be available in February for $85. InWin will be entering the AIO market, so they're going to be offering liquid-cooled CPU coolers. They'll have the SR24, which is a 240 millimeter version, and an SR36, which will be a 360 millimeter version. Now, the big thing that really stood out to us about these AIOs is the actual height of the pump block. It is much taller than other AIOs that we're used to seeing. It's actually 68 millimeters tall, and the whole reason for that is because it has a dual pump design. So dual pump design is, designed to be more efficient and help with cooling. These will have their ARGB fans, and the controller will be included, so you can use their controller if you don't want to use their motherboard software. But of course, you can connect it to your motherboard as well if you want to use, Asus or a Sync or whatever it may be. Now, these will be available in Q1 with the SR24 being $119.99, and then you have the SR36 being $139.99. So that wraps things up for InWin at CES 2020. The massive, big, Signature Series chassis is really awesome. It is an interactive case, and it's something that I don't think I could ever afford, but I think it's really cool. And it's great to see the Signature Series chassis, go from what was really like a PC case to something that's just an art piece and just really crazy. And then you have the small little B1, which I think is perfect for a streaming box. And then you have the AIOs, and it's really cool that, InWin is entering the AIO market, especially with a dual pump design. So that is it again for InWin at CES 2020. If you have any questions about any of the products, of course, leave it in the comment section below, and definitely let us know what your favorite product was. Be sure to check out our CES 2020 playlist. We'll see you guys in the next video.